Good morning. To start with, I'd like to thank everyone who responded to the video that I posted last week on Facebook. I had over 4,000 views, and I was quite overwhelmed by not only how many people had seen it, but also by the response it got in comments. I ran into people on the street who said they'd seen it. Some people I didn't even know. So it generated a lot of interest, it seemed, and I got a lot of emails and comments asking me really about other questions that they had perhaps wondered about. So just in keeping that in mind, remembering that these are just ideas and thoughts that I've had over 30 years of teaching and working at funerals and dealing with families that are suffering and grieving. I thought another question that I might like to look at today is the question of, do things happen for a reason? I get asked that all the time, especially at funerals and meeting with families. I get asked that. So to address that today, my first immediate quick response is no. I don't believe that things do happen for a reason. I think that we live in a universe and a planet that happens, and because of the biology, the fact that we live and we die, there's immense amounts of joy and hope and love that is shared every day. But at the same time, we have suffering, grieving, and loss. And those are just part of the natural way that we live, the natural progression of life. And I think those things happen. They're caused by outside events, caused by other people's actions, perhaps. But I don't believe there's a grand plan that those actions are meant to be. My difficulty with that idea of meant to be is that I find it hard to think about a loving God who would cause suffering and pain so that perhaps others might learn a lesson. It sounds a little capricious to me. I can't imagine, for example, a loving God who would allow 6 million people to die in the Holocaust so that we could learn how to be more aware and more compassionate. That being said, I do believe that when events happen, we then, as thinking, loving, self-reflecting human beings, we then look for reasons in that. So in a sense, there is a reason, but we bring the reason to the event. The event isn't caused so that we will learn something or find the reason. We have to bring reason to the event. So we sit back and look what's happened and we reflect on why this has occurred and then how am I going to move forward. There are some times that one event in a family, for example, may have 6 different reactions. The reasons for it that they find out of it may be completely different from another member of the family. And I think that those reasons that we find affect how we then move forward. And I think that's why reason is important to us. But I think we are the ones that actually bring the reason to the event. And I know, as I said in my last video, that as loving, caring human beings with this endless capacity to love and to accept love from others, I think my response is, how is this event going to make me a more loving, caring person? How can I move through this event and work in a way that will allow me to love better, to be loved more, and how then can make this event and what I've learned a cause for a more positive event in the future. That's what I think. That's why I think things happen, not for a reason, but for what we bring to the event.